Classified into two types, dynamic and adynamic. Dynamic is a mechanical type of obstruction, adynamic is a pseudo obstruction. We are mostly concerned, as general surgeons, we are mostly concerned about the dynamic or the mechanical type of obstruction. In dynamic obstruction, the peristalsis is working against a mechanical obstruction. And in a dynamic obstruction, the mechanical element is absent and the peristalsis may be absent. It would be a paralytic ileus. It may be in non-propulsive form as well, right? Like a mesenteric vascular occlusion or causes of dynamic obstruction, it could be intraluminal, intramural, and extramural. Intraluminal means inside the bowel. Intramural means in the wall of the bowel. Extramural means outside the bowel. So intraluminal could be impacted feces, foreign bodies, gallstones, vessels. Intramural could be tumors, inflammatory strictures. Extramural could be adhesions, hernias, volvulus, interceptions. Adhesions are usually found in those abdomens who have undergone exploratory laparotomy. There is a 40% chance of adhesion formation after any abdominal surgery, open abdominal surgery. Dynamic obstruction can also be divided into small bowel obstruction and large bowel obstruction. And in small bowel obstruction, they could be high small bowel obstruction or low small bowel obstruction, depending upon the point of obstruction. In high, there is early profuse vomiting and rapid dehydration. In low, there will be predominantly there will be abdominal pain and central distension, and the vomiting is delayed. There are multiple central air-filled levels are seen on the abdominal X-ray. In large bowel obstruction, it is very pronounced distension, mild pain, vomiting, dehydration will be late. For example, carcinoma, diverticulitis, volvulus, these are the kinds of large bowel obstruction. Acute obstruction usually occurs in small bowel. Obstruction where severe colicky central abdominal pain occurs, distension. Chronic obstruction usually in the large bowel, lower abdominal colic and obstipation, followed by distension. Acute or chronic short history of distension and vomiting against background of pain and constipation, and subacute में there is incomplete obstruction. Okay. Now obstruction can be simple. Blockage without interfering with the vascular supply. It could be strangulation where your blood supply will be compromised. This is a surgical emergency. And a closed loop obstruction. Bowel is obstructed at both the proximal and distal, and this usually occurs when the obstruction occurs at the point of large bowel. One end is obstructed and the other is closed by the ileocecal valve, so it's kind of a closed loop obstruction. Causes of intestinal obstruction, I've already told you, adhesions in 40% of the cases. It could be tumors, inflammatory, obstructed hernias, intraluminal, and miscellaneous account for 8%. There are 4 cardinal symptoms of intestinal obstruction: abdominal pain, vomiting, distension, constipation. They vary according to the level of the obstruction, duration, underlying pathology, and intestinal ischemia. Abdominal pain is colicky in nature around the umbilicus in small bowel obstruction, whereas in the lower abdomen in large bowel obstruction. If it becomes continuous, then you should think about perforation or strangulation. It does not usually occur in paralytic ileus. And vomiting starts early in small bowel obstruction and late in large bowel obstruction. As obstruction progresses, vomiting alters from feculent due to enteric bacterial overgrowth. It is more with lower obstruction, distension. Constipation more with lower or complete obstruction. Constipation is either absolute or relative. In absolute constipation, there is no feces can pass or no flatus can pass. Whereas in the relative obstruction, you can pass feces, you can pass flatus. It does not apply in Richter's hernia, where the wall of the bowel is formed by the wall of the hernia is formed by the bowel itself. The gallstones, mesenteric vascular, and obstructions with the pelvic abscesses. Dehydration is more common in small bowel obstruction due to repeated vomiting. secondary polycythemia due to raised urea and hematocrit, pyrexia, onset of ischemia, intestinal perforation, and inflammation associated with intestinal obstruction. Symptoms in strangulation: there is severe constant abdominal pain, fever, tachycardia, tenderness with rigidity, rebound tenderness, and shock. So strangulation is basically an emergency, surgical emergency, and you need to operate. Okay. What are the clinical signs of that? There will be signs of dehydration. There will be distension, scars, peristalsis will be palpable. Palpation with tenderness, masses, rigidity, percussion will be tympanic, high-pitched bowel sound or silent abdomen. You should examine rectum for mass, blood, feces, or it may be empty. Investigations are CBC, WBC. You should correct the electrolytic imbalances. Plain abdominal X-ray. This is mostly asked in exam that what X-ray should you get to diagnose obstruction. So it is generally a supine abdominal X-ray, not an erect one. Okay, a supine abdominal X-ray. Sigmoidoscopy, contrast like a barium, like a gastrograph and enema to rule out volvulus, and eventually CT abdomen if you require. There are three main methods. You should, first of all, you should try with conservative method. Conservative method maintains the GI drainage, fluid and electrolyte. You should pass an NG tube, pass a Foley, see the input-output charting of the patient. You should start NG on suction or NG to bag, whatever is feasible. And if there is an old dictum that the sun should not set and rise on the patient obstruction, but that is not actually true. You can wait for about 72 hours before actually going for a surgical procedure, because you should wait for 3 days for in case of a conservative management for obstruction to settle. If the patient is showing signs of relief, you can continue conservative management, and most of the adhesive obstructions, they can get relieved by this method. NG tube or Ryle's tube, IV fluid, depending on dehydration, NPO, urinary catheter, I've already told you, check pulse temperature, abdominal examination, and broad spectrum antibiotics are initiated to reduce bacterial overgrowth. In some cases, they will settle by conservative. Surgery should be delayed till resuscitation is complete or signs of obstruction and evidence. Cases that show reasons for delay, as I've told you that you should wait for 72 hours in cases of adhesive obstruction. Obstruction cases. The sun should not both set and rise. I've already told you this is not actually true nowadays, and you can do conservative manage for the 72 hours. Indication of surgery: failure for conservative management, tender irreducible hernia, strangulation. These things are usually asked in your exam. If the site of obstruction is unknown, okay, when you do the laparotomy, if the cecum is dilated, then there is a large bowel obstruction. If the cecum is collapsed, then it is a small bowel obstruction. Okay, thank you all very much for a patient hearing. And any questions if you guys want to ask, I am available. Okay, since there are no questions and nobody wishes to ask any question, I'll call it off. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Okay, bye-bye. Have a nice day.
Students, you are requested kindly not to leave. Your attendance is still pending. Please wait